I went to the University of Toronto to the music faculty, and I also took private lessons, learning how to play the guitar, learning how to compose. And the only thing I would say is that school is this amazing thing in which it teaches you discipline over your craft. But after that's done, no one can really promise you a job in the field of music, depending on what you want to do. If you want to teach, then there's ways to go about it. You know, you could become a teacher and eventually get a job. But if you're trying to be a creative, so much of it is just experience. And now, especially with things like YouTube and just the internet in general, there's just so many ways to learn how to become a musician, to become a producer, and to become just anyone that's creative. There's so many ways to learn that there never was before. So I think going to a trade school is important in the way that there's nothing like learning from a teacher and being in a classroom setting and learning from your peers. But after that's done, there's so much more to learn, and you can't contain that in a classroom setting. So I would say that it's just like it's a beautifully free format of learning the art of creating music, because there's so many outlets to do it with.
And how did you know this was what you wanted to do? And how did you know the band was going? Did you know at the beginning that the band was going to be such a great success?
No, you never know those things. You go with the feeling in it, and the feeling was that the community was right and the people around it were right. So we went with that, and yeah, you never know what's going to be successful. But I just know that we were doing it for the right reasons, and that was like to build community and make great art.
What's the writing process like with two other people?
The collaborative effort is an art in itself, and the best thing you could do is listen to other people's ideas. Otherwise, there's no point in being in a musical group setting, because it isn't about your idea, it's about everyone's idea. And you learn to do that as you get better at it. And I think I'm a better collaborator now than I was then. But that's really how we created, because we all came from different backgrounds. One was Trinidadian, one was French Canadian, and I'm South Indian. So you put that mindset together, and something pretty cool comes out if you listen to each other.
Did you have people in the music business that you felt you could learn from and trust from? Like, were there people who were helping to guide you, or were you just guiding yourself, or a little bit of both?
No, yeah, there's always someone that's inspiring you and pointing ways. Not everything is for you, so sometimes you learn through mistakes. Like, it's like, I'll equate it to music. You have to write like a bad song to get to a good song, or have a bad show to get to a good show, and it's all a learning experience. So in the music industry, there's a number of people. There's musicians that are mentors, there's managers, there's people at record labels, there's promoters that teach you about that end of the business, and there's marketing. So you're constantly learning from people, even now.
In Los Angeles, you work regularly with these really big acts, these really big performers. How did you find? Did you have an agent that found those connections for you, or?
No, it happened through management, and it happened through our own networking. You know, I work with somebody who was very much like me in his own way, but in Los Angeles. So that it all starts with community. It all starts with you putting in the effort. No one can actually do anything for you in that way. You have to be able to be in a room that you put yourself in for the right intentions and for the right reasons. And you have to let that take over, rather than, like, I want to work with this big artist and make it and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work like that. You just have to work with people you resonate with, and you'll attract the things that are meant for you.
When a young musician comes to you and says, I have $10,000. I've saved $10,000. I want to make a demo. I don't know where to begin. How do you begin that process with that young artist? How do you help them along?
Well, the first thing I do is I listen to them. I listen to their music, and I listen to them, and I just try to just feel out if I'm the right person for them, because not everything is for me and I'm not for everyone. So it starts with that. And if they are for me, I really listen to what their vision is and who they want to be, or if they're figuring out, I'll try to build that with them. And then after that, just the music takes place, and you take lots of care and lots of time with it, and you have to learn how to be gentle with the process, but then you have to know how to be aggressive with the process. You know when to, now that you hit this role, you want to keep the momentum going, and at the same time, you don't want to be all encompassing and take over what they do. You have to make it about them and not yourself. So it's a balance of everything.
You don't believe there's a music industry. The music industry doesn't exist, but you do talk about the music business. So how do you see those two things as being separate or connected?
Well, record companies serve a totally different purpose now. There was a time when record companies would sign artists, put money into developing a talent, and then when it's ready to develop, it might take a few years even. They would get the right people to work with that artist or group and make the right record and find a marketing plan, because there was a whole marketing division and there were budgets for all those things. And then when that's done, there would be a whole budget and plan to get them the right booking agency and put them on tours and make sure there's like the right record, and it would go on and on. So you would have this incredible project that you can put on the road and market. And now we're in a place where those big companies more or less have become distribution networks to put other music out. So they're not really developing talent like they used to. And the artist is left to do it for themselves because of social media. So if you went to a record company now, they'd probably look at your Instagram before they listen to your music to see how many followers you have, because that's your marketing department. So it's very different now. The artist is pretty much unto themselves, and they have to find their own team
to put out there. So this change in the industry, how do you feel about it?
Part of it is amazing, because it really gives the artist all the say and all the power if they're working by themselves. But there's something to be said about having a team. When someone has a bird's eye view of what you do, they might have ideas that you don't. And I think a lot of artists are missing that because they're just by themselves. Most artists are making records in their bedrooms and putting it online and paying for streams. And some artists aren't even playing shows and meeting people. So they don't actually know what the real world is like. And the ones that are doing it, that have record deals, like they're on their own. The record company won't promote you or put money into you unless you're popping off on Instagram or TikTok, so you're really by yourself. So it's too bad that model's not existing as much as it used to. But in the same way, if you're independent and you have a team and you found the right people that believe in you, and that person could be a friend, it doesn't have to even be someone in the music industry, could just be someone that believes in you. And if you have like 10 friends that love everything you do and you do it just for those 10 friends, it'll grow into 20 and it'll go into 30. And that's how you build careers. And I think that's a way more fulfilling way. You actually see the results of what you do instead of getting caught up in these numbers, like these humongous numbers. And I don't know how many of those numbers are real, like if you have like 10 million streams, but you can't fill a cafe with 20 people, there's something wrong there.
Right.
Whereas if you're in the tangible world, you understand that that's something the record business doesn't take part in anymore.
Right.
They expect you to do it all. Young artists should just focus on being young artists, make the best records you can that you do love first, and then find the courage to put it into the world for the sole reason being that you made something for people like you. And find those people, find who those people are, and once you get them, even if it's one or two, see how you can build, just make music for those two people. And those two people, I promise you, will share it with another two or three. Like I was saying before, that's the greatest advice I could give anyone. Just do things for the right reasons and pure reasons. And the purest reason is to express yourself and put the best art you can for yourself. Then the rest of the world will come. In the end, when all is said and done, in the end, when all my will is gone, when I'm broken and all my beauty fades, no, you won't walk away. No, you won't walk away.